Good evening, and welcome to the Albany Capital Center. Before we begin, please recognize our partners in state government, Senator Pat Fahey, Assemblymember John McDonald, and Assemblymember Gabriela Romero. And now, thank you and welcome to the first public workshop for the Downtown Albany Strategy.
For over 400 years, Albany has been an important part of New York State's history. From its beginnings as a bustling trade hub to its legacy as our capital city, Albany has always led with strength, purpose, and pride. This is the place where New York's laws are written, where progress takes root, and where generations of hardworking New Yorkers have built lives, families, and futures. After COVID, downtown Albany faced real challenges. Offices went dark, some businesses closed, and concerns about safety grew. In Governor Hochul's executive budget, New York State committed $400 million to rebuild the downtown core and boost efforts already underway that will transform the 1-mile radius surrounding the downtown core into a thriving community. And we're proud to say we are moving forward. New York is investing $400 million to build safer streets, stronger neighborhoods, and a thriving downtown economy that will attract businesses, visitors, and residents alike. This isn't just about rebuilding. It's about reimagining what Albany can be for generations to come. Together, we are honoring Albany's legacy and securing its future, brighter, safer, and full of promise. Albany isn't just our capital. It's a cornerstone of New York's future.
And now, distinguished guests, please stand and welcome the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So grateful to be here this evening. What a voice. I'm taking that guy everywhere. It's like, feel like, let's get it ready to rumble. I also want to recognize, in addition to our state officials, we are joined by our great mayor, Kathy Hochul, who's been a driver of change for the city. Yesterday, we went to the most spectacular public swimming pool in America, and thank you for making that happen. Glad we could toss in a little $10 million to get you over the finish line, but that's what I'm talking about. You know, transformational leaders doing transformational projects. And I also want to thank our County Executive Dan McCoy, who's joined us here today, another leader of these efforts to make sure that this region lives up to its full potential. Members of my administration, you'll be hearing from shortly Hope Knight, the CEO and President of Empire State Development, who's leading the charge. Commissioner Jeanette Moy, the Office of General Services, as well as Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez, the Department of Transportation, who'll be both of them, all of them. My dream team will be intimately involved in executing this. I was just with Commissioner Dominguez yesterday as well, as we were walking along the waterfront not far from here and talking about reimagining 9 miles of that waterfront and connecting the people of this great city to that magnificent bodyway known as the Hudson River. And we're going to get it done. Multi-billion-dollar project with the 787 will also be reimagined. And looking at the Livingston Avenue Bridge right there as well. So if you add it all up, I've invested as governor already over $4 billion in transformational projects for this city and this region. So why? Because this is my home. It's the home of all New Yorkers as well, because this is the capital of the greatest state in the nation. And we must wear that with pride every single day. And to those who are naysayers, I grew up in a place that was full of naysayers. known as Buffalo, New York. And there's a long time, until the Buffalo Bills came along and they started winning games. But I know what it's like when people give up on a community. It's contagious. It affects the entire psychology of a region. And it's very devastating, especially to those from the outside who say, well, is this a place I want to start a business, raise a family? And if they're feeling that overwhelming sense of negativity, they're going to walk away and say, I'm going somewhere else. That cannot happen to any upstate city, but it certainly can't happen to Albany. Because I believe in this city. I believe in the people of this city. I know we can get this done. Buffalo came back. Other cities have come back, and now it is time for one of the greatest comebacks, other than the Buffalo Bills breaking a 17-year playoff break. I'm sorry, I watched Hard Knocks last night. Anybody watch Hard Knocks? Okay. All right, I have to watch TV once in a while, right? Also, Blake Washington is here as well. I neglected to acknowledge someone who is a real driver of ideas for this region. But I spend more time here than anywhere else in the state. It's where my family visits. My granddaughter thinks that every grandma has a really nice house like mine. But I've walked the streets. I eat at the diners. I was at breakfast this morning. Pearl Street Diner's closed, by the way, this week. They're on vacation. Went over to Skinny Pancake. What a fun place that is. Not real good for a diet, but it's really a fun place. So I've been here. I go to the restaurants, and I go to ball games. I go to attractions. I saw women's basketball here not too long ago. Farmers markets, the McReary's, go Bills. There's always a connection to Bills here. But as I said, I've invested a lot. You've invested a lot. We're going to invest even more. Because I also know that we start making changes, like me driving past that central warehouse for so many years and saying, why? Why is that still standing? Blake, they need money to tear it down. Blake, give them the money to tear it down. I want that done now. Because messages like that are a sign of a city in decline, and yet we're not. That's why we cannot have buildings like that. And we're taking it down with great support from the state. I want to make sure that gets done. That'll clear the way for development. Look at the potential there. Every bit of space that has a building that needs to be demolished, I'm looking at a place for possibly new homes or new businesses and new life. And we just had announced $10 million for this center. This is an extraordinary place, coming up on its 10-year anniversary in 2027. That's why we're going to continue making investments to show you don't rest on your laurels when you have a fascinating attraction like this. You keep reinvesting. I want to keep bringing more people all across the country to do conventions here, because they need to learn our history, our story, our people, and all that's happening right here. So we have a lot to do. I'm up for the task. My team is up for the task. We're in it for the long haul. And I'll also look at Albany, what are some of the challenges? I hosted some people over, some of the thought leaders, to a dinner last summer at the residence. I said, what do we need to do? Tell me. You're the ones who are here. Your families are here. Your business is here. Tell me what you need. And of course, the answer was money, money, money. And I understood that, but I also said we need the community to be engaged. We're not going to ever sit in a Capitol building and decide what a community should have as their city. The planning, the ideas, the vision must come from the people who live here and call this home. That is why I am overwhelmed and thrilled to see the number of people here tonight who gave up time from their schedules. Maybe you didn't have dinner yet. You're probably a little hungry tonight. And your families are waiting for you at home. But you're sitting here because you are the true believers. You're the drivers, the shakers, the movers. The people who want to see something happen while we're still here walking this earth. And that's why a community like Albany, with its challenges, where a lot of people didn't come back to work after the pandemic, that was a hard hit on our local businesses. Our storefronts, some of them empty. I want them full of life. I can feel it. And that's why this $400 million initiative that we envisioned and came up with and got the support of your local legislative leaders who we referenced earlier tonight, we said, let's show this community they matter. Let's show them. Let's give them the resources they need to fulfill their dreams. And so we're calling it CAP, Championing Albany's Potential. I didn't come up with that, but it's very clever. This is a gift to the city, but it's not one that the city didn't deserve. The city has always mattered. It's always should have been at the top of list of investments. Other governors come and go for decades, but none of them have spent as much time here as I have. None of them see the potential and want to make it become reality. So today, that process is being kicked off. I'm not going to stand here and tell you what it should look like, but you know in your heart what you want to see. If you grew up here a long time ago, maybe things were different then. There were more shops downtown, and you want to see that once again for your kids and grandkids. I'm going to leave this up to you because we're not going to have it top down, as I said. So we're going to make those investments. We're going to give you what you need. We're going to listen to you. And the other thing I'm going to promise you, we're going to move quickly because I believe that people lose faith in their government when everything takes so long to happen. I'm just as frustrated, my friends. I'm always looking for the next challenge, but I want to make sure the ones we started to solve are already accomplished. So I'll be driving my team hard. I said, you come up with the vision, let our team know. They're all vested in success as well. Every one of these professionals who dedicate their lives to public service, my commissioners and others who are orchestrating this event, will carry on the execution because everything is in the execution. I do not want this to be what has happened in too many cities across our state where people come up with, oh, this is a 2025, 2026 vision for the city of Albany. Let's put it on a shelf with all the other ones. I want to break down those shelves and no longer have shelves. We're not putting it on shelves. We're making the magic happen as fast as humanly possible. That is my commitment to you here tonight. So I'm excited. I'm energized. I'm fired up. And I want you to know that the future of this city, which has a storied past, steeped in an incredible history of commerce and exploration, we're so proud of that. But also, you are the keepers of the flame to take us into the future. Hearken the voices of the past, those bold adventurers who let nothing stand in their way. Be those people today, because I'm counting on you. I'm counting on everyone in this room. So we're going to look back someday and say it all began on a beautiful August night in Albany back in 2025. That's when this city was starting to realize its full potential once and for all. And I say finally. Thank you very much for everyone joining us here tonight. I'm going to introduce our great leader of ESD, Commissioner Hope Knight.
Thank you, Governor Hochul, and good evening, everyone. We wouldn't be here today without Governor Hochul and her commitment to this city. As she stated, it started that evening of conversation at the governor's mansion, which led to a proposal in the State of the State. And one thing that I know for certain, this governor gets things done. And the funding for the CAP initiative was part of the state budget. Albany is experiencing public and private investment on a scale not seen in decades. And this is a generational opportunity for our capital city. This moment is about more than a single project. It's about bringing the public and private partners together, aligning local needs, and making overdue changes a reality. Governor Hochul and her entire administration are committed to investing in the people and the places, and Albany's downtown is where we can create real momentum for housing, jobs, and inclusive economic growth. It's a team effort led by Governor Hochul, and ESD is proud to be working with agency partners, including OGS and DOT, whose commissioners join us tonight. Yesterday, DOT announced plans regarding 787, which, while not the focus of tonight's workshop, is a part of the governor's comprehensive approach towards Albany's revitalization. When Governor Hochul first proposed the CAP initiative in January, we issued an RFP for firms to help us with the planning process. We knew that collaboration was going to be crucial to our efforts and that there would be many voices and views to consider. That's something we recognized from the start, and it is one of the reasons that Commissioner Moy and I toured some of the businesses in downtown Albany. We wanted to listen, to hear what business owners were saying, and to understand their perspective. Albany's revitalization will only succeed with deep partnerships between government, local organizations, institutions, businesses, and residents. That's why the Downtown Albany Strategy is being developed together with local government, regional stakeholders, and all of you. What we're asking you to take part in today is more than just a planning process. It's an invitation to help shape Albany's future. Your input tonight and at future workshops will help us shape future investments so that what gets built is meaningful, locally inspired, and has a lasting impact. This strategy is about finding the big ideas that can make a real difference, and your voice is essential. We are here to listen, to partner, and to ultimately deliver a vision that speaks to the needs and aspirations of the city. This is your downtown, and it can work for everyone. Collectively, we will help to determine what kind of city Albany becomes for the next generation. So I'd like to encourage you to think big and think bold. Help us decide what Albany needs most right now and how to best build for the future. To help us make this vision a reality, we brought in a great team led by MIG. They've worked with cities across the country to turn community ideas into real projects. They're also working with us to shape a plan that works for Albany. And so now, would you please help me welcome to the stage Ben Margolis.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for taking your time for Albany and for downtown. I'm Ben Margolis. I am Principal and Director of Economic Development at MIG. I'm here with my colleagues Jay Rankins, Yuri Chang. We are completely honored and excited to be supporting you, supporting this process. Take a look around. You are the Albany experts, and we've been meeting hundreds of you over the last month. It's amazing to meet all of you tonight. We felt welcome, and we feel more and more that Albany is by far the most diverse, wonderfully urban, culturally interesting place in the region, and definitely a place with pride, deep pride. And a clicker that doesn't yet work. There we go. Pride, certainly in your architecture, pride in your history, and especially pride in yourselves, you being the city's champions. But we're also sensing that that pride and the hope that often accompanies it can feel a little quiet sometimes, held in pockets, or waiting for the right moment to come forward. But thanks to the state's historic investment, this really is the right moment. So with your pride, we want you to be bold, we want you to be smart about downtown's growth. A bit about the team that's supporting you. MIG is a national planning firm and working in downtowns across the nation. Jay, Yuri, and I are in our New York office. You have an amazing team of urban experts. With the Highland Planning team leading engagement, Highland Planning, raise your hands. If you haven't met them yet, you will meet them tonight and you will meet them soon. Okay, we want to do 4 things tonight. We want to share why downtown matters now more than ever, hear your priorities, walk you through what this process is and what it isn't, and what it will deliver, and ensure you understand that it centers your expertise. So to do that, We're going to talk at you for a little bit. We're going to provide a presentation about downtown and the process, but the majority of time will be you talking with each other and discussing downtown at your tables in group discussions. But even as we walk through the presentations, we're going to stop a few minutes and interact with you a little bit this way. And I'm going to invite my colleague Jay up.
Great, thank you, Ben. So up on the screen, we have a QR code at your table. There's a table tent at every single table. The QR code on the right-hand side is for a little exercise using Mentimeter. You can also go to menti.com on your phone and enter the code 34099541. So we'll just stay on this for a minute so people who want to participate can. If you don't, or if you're unable to navigate, maybe you don't have a phone that has a smartphone or something like that, or you don't want to use your data plan, feel free to write answers on a Post-it. You can leave them on your table. We'll collect all of that at the end. Also, these questions are going to be on our online survey, which we're going to put on here so that we can hear from other folks who are interested in the process. All right, if you want to advance to the next one. Okay, so people started answering already. First one is we want to know who's in the room. You can answer as many of these as applicable to you. So are you a downtown resident? Are you a resident of Albany, but maybe you don't live downtown? Are you a business or property owner, government or public sector employee, nonprofit, school or community organization, or a visitor or commuter? All right. We're getting quite a few responses on there. Pretty good mix of people too, large diversity. All right, we have a few more coming in yet. Lots of likes too, awesome. See those floating up in the bottom? All right, looks like that is slowing down a little bit. Anyone raise your hand if you need a little more time to answer this one? Someone over there? Okay, we'll give another 30 seconds or so. And again, you can answer as many of those as applicable to you as you want. All right, so great representation. It looks like the largest response is from people who live in Albany but not downtown. But we have a lot of downtown residents too, 131 so far. A lot of government, public sector employees, which makes sense. It's a very large employer here. And then a lot of nonprofit, school, and community organizations too, as well as other business and property owners. Great, okay, let's go to one more question. We wanna know what role you think, or roles, Downtown Albany serves best today. So you can respond up to 3 on this one. So do you think it's a great place to live and be part of a neighborhood today? Is it a great center for business and government activity? A destination where you come to go out, to eat, maybe go to a show, go shopping, a hub for arts, culture, and history, a space for civic events and public life. We know that is one of the bigger draws downtown right now for people who don't live or work downtown, coming out to events. Or a place to just get your daily goods and services. If you live down here, you live nearby, is this where you come and do your kind of shopping or get your hair done, whatever it may be? All right, so we had 379 people respond to the first one. And it looks like we're getting close. So, how is downtown doing today in terms of fulfilling its roles? Being a center for business and government is really jumping to the top. Next, space for civic events and public life. And then after that, it looks like a hub for arts, culture, and history. So maybe doing a little less good in terms of, well, we only have 17 people responded that this is where they get their daily goods and services. Next least, a destination for dining and shopping, which is funny because historically that's what you think of downtowns, right? Like people coming to come out to eat, come out to shop. That's where you'd kind of get dressed up maybe, have a night on the town. And then just above that, at 142, is a place to live and be part of a neighborhood. So we'll just give it another 30 seconds. If you can, keep that open on your phone. We are going to have another Mentimeter question in a little bit, but we will show the QR code again as well, and it is on your table. So if you do happen to accidentally navigate away from that, that's okay. But with that, we can leave that one open as we go back to the presentation. And I'm going to turn it back over to Ben.
Okay, on your way home tonight, if one thing sticks with you, we hope it's this. In order for the city of Albany to tackle big issues like housing or services, we have to unlock downtown's full potential. Growth here will ripple outward, but only if it's bold and only if it's intentional. Regarding that 1 mile boundary that you see on the map on the screen, this strategy does focus on the downtown core within that circle, but also its connections and gateways to nearby neighborhoods and the region. Revitalizing downtown really is the key to solving citywide challenges. So this process invites input from anyone and everyone of who cares about the entire city's future. So why do we think downtown is the key? Well, first, downtowns matter more than ever. They are a symbol of a city's identity. They are gathering places, civic hubs. How they grow and change affects how a whole city is perceived and how it performs. Investment in downtown creates what we call economic multipliers. That's why cities that invest smartly in their downtowns often outperform their peers. We're seeing this in cities like Providence, which is another capital city. When you build momentum downtown, it unlocks broader transformation across the city. The strategy that you're shaping, it's going to help Albany do exactly that. This graphic isn't showing buildings, it's showing where land holds market value, right? So downtowns concentrate tremendous potential to deliver public benefit. Investing here pays off in services, jobs, and vitality for all neighborhoods throughout a city. That should be true for Albany too. Nationwide, downtowns are also evolving. Today's most successful and resilient are moving from business districts to mixed-use urban neighborhoods full of residents and families that want to walk out their doors, to shops, restaurants, cultural offerings, recreation, schools, work. And the reason they're doing this is because they have to. As the nature of working continues to shift and the way people shop and spend time changes and housing needs grow, downtowns are pivoting. They're finding creative ways to reuse space, offices becoming shared workspaces or housing, alleys turning into community spaces. It's not always about new buildings, it's about rethinking what's already there. Downtowns are now offering everything from markets to live performances and experiences. They're appealing to more people more of the time. A key is mixing uses, so downtown stays lively and welcoming throughout the day, throughout the week. Downtowns are increasingly centers of care, housing for seniors, supportive services, shelters, and cities are finding really, really creative ways to integrate these needs into the fabric of downtowns through partnerships, services, and new types of spaces. So the trend is from central business district to central social district. It's about building upon daytime workers with community life, day and night, weekends and weekends and weekdays, residents and visitors. Successful downtowns are welcoming that wider mix of residents by concentrating and developing much more diverse set of housing. And I think that shift is key to turning downtowns into true neighborhoods. And so it's time for downtown Albany to also pivot and evolve more and meet this moment, addressing real barriers and building on real momentum. And what we've heard from you so far is that downtown Albany has so many assets, but it lacks some things. It lacks enough people, vibrancy, a sense of community and cohesiveness. That's the challenge, but it's also the opportunity we're tackling. You have talent, you have so many talented people working on wonderful things, including putting on wonderful events like Alive at 5. To compete regionally, to draw more people, we need more large-scale events and destinations, whether that's lighting festivals, arena programming, or expanded cultural offerings. Right now, 2 out of 3 downtown jobs are in government. That makes us a little too vulnerable and dependent. Just think of downtown streets when the legislature, right, is not in session and when it is. We need to add so we really need to add to the public sector workforce and attract a more diverse set of workers and employers right into the core. So downtown Albany has more reasons for more people to be here more often, an authentic and vibrant downtown that reflects you, the local flavor and uniqueness of Albany. That will also be much better at retaining and attracting the people that we need. But we want to be clear and a little blunt that downtown Albany needs more residents. Low density makes it really hard to support the things that you want, the shops, the services, and the energy that's expected from a downtown. So you have much far fewer residents per square mile than other growing and successful downtowns. So a result of that is when you think of like Pearl Street, right? Like other downtown corridors, doesn't today have the population or income mix to fully support the amount and diversity of retail that you're telling us you want and that you need. More nearby residents means more foot traffic, more safety, more demand. So Lark Street, as another example, has twice as many residents near it as Pearl Street does. So a bit of proof, right, that more people, income diversity, help support businesses and help them thrive. This map shows population density. Darker areas are denser, lighter areas are less so. This is the complete opposite of what we see in many downtowns around the nation. If Parks or the medical center wasn't included here, it would be even more stark. We need more people, we need more residents downtown. Okay, so if we want a stronger city tomorrow, we can't wait. Downtown Albany needs to grow, starting now, starting immediately. You've also begun to tell us your ideas about change, and that change needs to really happen, and really happen now. We agree completely with this feeling of urgency. You heard it from the governor directly. Like many capital cities, about 2/3 of Albany's land is tax exempt. That's the green and blue areas in the map, and that figure has been growing. So you have a shrinking base. We estimate billions in untaxed value. That really shifts the burden on everyone else. So it drives up tax rates for residents and businesses. It also makes it difficult to raise the necessary funds we need for services, for housing, for people in need. But downtown has hundreds of acres of vacant or underused land. It's a real chance to reverse the trend and grow the base. In fact, the study area holds about 220 acres of untapped land, including many, many large developable parcels. That's equivalent to about 140 city blocks. And that downtown vacancy has been rising. So an increasing number of buildings and land aren't contributing to the success of the whole city. Albany is the capital city of the state. Honestly, it's not even acting like the center of a growing region in terms of its growth. It's falling behind. This needs to change, and it needs to change urgently. So hopefully you're feeling or hearing that urgency to evolve. Now it's time to be aspirational about how we do that. All right. Believe us, we do downtown work everywhere. There are many, many downtowns and cities that would die for the assets that Albany has, and you need to understand that. You have anchors and cultural space and people, a foundation built to grow, and you have momentum. All the signs are good. There are more people returning to work and averaging more days in the office. There are more employees working today than there was exactly a year ago in downtown. You had 1.3 million visitors in 2024. That's a year-over-year increase. These are really, really, really good signs. So it's just a very smart, to be really crude about it, it's a really smart place to invest. Downtown has what people want. There's a sense of place, there's walkability, there's diversity, there's space to grow. These are driving investments in other cities around the country. Albany offers them all, so we should be doing more investment here. You once had more people. You had 30,000 plus more residents than you have today. There's no reason you can't have that again. The room exists, the demand exists, but it's time to be bolder, and it's time to be more aspirational about that growth. So what if we imagine downtown with twice the residents? Busier shops, fuller cafes, livelier streets, more feet, more eyes, more activity on downtown streets. It's not just possible, it's really the opportunity we're here tonight to start to think through and make happen. Look at Cleveland. It set an even bolder goal for its downtown, and it exceeded it. They wanted to double, and they tripled. This is happening across the country. There's a real power in setting aspirational but reachable goals. It really signals to the private sector, to each other, that we're cohesive and we're serious about growing and growing smartly. And that kind of growth doesn't happen by accident. It takes strategy and shared commitment. You're telling us already, let's not try to fix everything at once. Let's focus where it's going to make the biggest difference first. Do it well and use that to build momentum. We 100% agree. So how do we do that? Albany's had strong projects. That really hasn't been your problem. But too often they've been bogged down or they happen in isolation. So good work hasn't really added up to real momentum. That's why it's time to connect the dots so individual wins really become a bigger transformation. So to really move the needle, you need to help us. You need to help us find the locations and the ideas to bring public improvements and private investment together at the same time and in the same places downtown. So we need to be bolder, we need to be more intentional, we also need to grow more inclusively. What we've heard, you've told us that growth also has to mean investments that improve quality of life, foster safety, create opportunity, especially for those historically left out. And let's be real, the city is not where it needs to be on equity. Whether it's segregation, poverty, home ownership, this downtown strategy won't address and fix everything all at once, but it has to lead to development and growth that closes gaps. As other towns grow, a wider array of housing and a wider array of buildings is also leading to more affordability and diversity citywide. Development has to make downtown feel safer, not just newer. That means alongside with new housing, investments in lighting, streets, public spaces. We can't separate growth from community safety or quality of life. In many downtowns, development has gone hand in hand with safety improvements. Albany should expect the same: better lighting, sidewalks, public spaces, combined with more people. Make areas feel more safe, and they make them feel more welcoming. Albany's small businesses and entrepreneurs are essential to downtown's identity, to downtown's growth, but they need more affordable space, they need storefront improvements, and they need support to grow. Cities like Providence have paired new development with targeted small business support, storefront space, funding, mentoring. Albany can do the same to help local entrepreneurs grow with downtown. That's really key. All right, a break from us talking at you. Jay's going to step in with another Mentimeter, and then we're going to get to you and your table discussions.
Awesome. All right, so hopefully you still have your phones at the Mentimeter. Otherwise, you can use the QR code again. We'll leave this up for 30 seconds or so if anyone needs to snap that. We just have one quick question for you in the Mentimeter. And that's related to the benefits of investment. We think about investment, we think about growth. What community benefits do you think should be achieved through downtown growth? That could be for the residents of downtown, it could be for the city of Albany as a whole. So these are just a few. There's 7 up on the screen. There's different ways to manipulate this question on your phone. So you can tap on them and it puts them up top. You can hold on it, move it around if you want to move it up to the top, but we're asking you for your top 3 here. And then you can use the little arrows if you want to move it up, to the first. If it's sitting in the second position, if it's a third, you move it up to second. This one's a little trickier, so if you do have an issue, raise your hand, and we have people walking around who can help you out. But again, this is just a primer I'm gonna have a little bit more presentation. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the process, but you're gonna have an opportunity to talk about more community benefits. Maybe there's something that you're thinking of that's not on the list. We wanna hear that at your small group discussions at the tables. Looks like we have 411 people logged into Mentimeter. We're approaching the 200 responses on this one. So we'll give just a little bit more time. We can also leave this one open as I keep talking too. All right. Yuri, do you want to reveal the answers again? Okay. Whoa, all right. So it looks like first, so far at least, is housing affordability, then public safety, neighborhood serving businesses in our top 3, but also pretty high up there, popular activities, events, destinations, community serving public spaces, better transit and connectivity, and getting quite a few votes still, high quality job creation. Great, well, we'll leave that open, but we can switch back to the presentation. So you may be asking, how do we turn this vision into action? How do we make sure this isn't a plan that sits on the shelf like the governor was speaking about? Well, that's the entire focus of the Downtown Albany Strategy. Based on what we've heard so far, we know you wanted more information about this process. You want to know how decisions will be made, what types of projects are going to be prioritized, and whether or not your feedback really matters and is going to shape the outcomes of this process. So we hear that, and we're going to address that right now. A key is to focus on projects that are investment ready, so that's how we move quickly, that are widely supported, that's where it comes to you all. We need your input now and throughout the rest of the process. And importantly, as Ben was talking about, they need to have catalytic impact, meaning that they lead to even more investment. How do we spend money to even get more investment to happen, more activity, more interest in downtown? As you've pointed out, we can't do everything at once, so we're concentrating where results are going to be the most impactful and most visible. That means concentrating investment in specific areas where we build on or create momentum and draw private investment alongside that public investment that's going to be made. The goal is an actionable blueprint, not just a plan that includes catalytic projects, aligned policies, and coordinated programs to unlock real investment. We're gathering big ideas, big investments, and public input, then running them through the Downtown Albany Strategy to arrive at focus implementable results. You're helping us tonight to advance the first phase of the project, so we're really at the ground floor still, where we collectively develop criteria for the investments. Phase 2 is going to include more community engagement and focus on defining specific project ideas and locations. And phase 3 will focus entirely on implementation. Who does what gets funded and how are projects going to be phased, and what are the key milestones along the way. And then we'll continue to gather input throughout this with workshops, pop-ups, business visits, the website, social media, and more. And the process is only going to work if you stay involved. One of the ways to do that is going to be the website that just launched yesterday, Downtown Albany Strategy.com. Those table tents at your table, the second QR code, the one on the left, actually directs you straight to this website, or you can navigate to the site at the top of the screen there. As it develops, it's where you're going to find updates, data, past meeting materials, and upcoming opportunities to give input. It's also how we're committing to transparency and shared learning. You can access it through the CAP Initiative website too, which has been active for several months. All right. So, finally, the small group discussions. So, we are going to have you walk through a couple different discussion items at your table. There's 2 posters at the middle of each table. The first tackles these first 2 questions. What positive changes should occur through investment in downtown? Ben Margolis is going to help us with this. So on the left-hand side of this poster, you would, after some group discussion, fill out what are the top 5 changes that should occur through the investment in downtown, positive changes. On the right-hand side of that same poster in the yellow area, have a discussion with your group and talk about how you would determine if you're successful in doing that. So let's say the positive change, which was the highest scoring one, was housing affordability, at least of those predetermined answers. Well, how do we judge that? How do we measure that? How do we measure success in 2 years, 5 years? So that's the activity in the first poster. The third question is for the second poster. And that is, if we evolve and grow with purpose, what do downtown and Albany look like in 5 years? We want to know where you want that to happen, where you think those greatest opportunities are, where you think it'll have the greatest impact. So you actually have a set of stickers at your table. There's blue stickers, a strip of 20 of them. There's 20 spaces on the left-hand side of this poster. So we're asking you to number those stickers, stick them on the poster, and then write a description. It could be the location, it could be an idea you have for that location, it could be a problem you think is at the location that needs solving, but put some sort of description on there. So before you get started, again, at these tables, I know there's some people standing around the edge of the room. We would encourage you, there's still open seats at the table, so please sit down if you can. We'd like you to introduce yourselves first, and then before you just start writing on the posters, after the introductions, we'd like you to actually take the Post-its and write on your Post-its a couple of answers to that first one, some of the bigger changes you'd like to see and the metrics to measure that. And then after you've each taken maybe a couple minutes to do that, then have the discussion, come up with the top 5 priorities for the table and write those on the poster. I'll keep providing some guidance from the stage to keep us going. We do want a scribe at each table, so hopefully someone's willing to write on these beautiful posters. It's pretty fun, actually. There's also one last thing. There's comment sheets at each poster, at each table. Please fill those out as well. It says notes on the top, but we'd love you to leave those behind. And just a few last pieces of guidance here. Please be respectful of each other. Please listen to each other. And we want you to share your ideas, of course, but allow others to talk as well. So we have folks walking around that can help you out, answer questions, help you with the activity itself. And we're going to get you out of here by 7:30, we promise. There's a few slides at the end with some next steps. Okay. So we're going to wrap up the small group exercise. So if you can grab a seat, we have 1 or 2 slides left. We just want to go over a few next steps. All right. So first reminder, everything that you filled out, the map, the poster, the Post-its, the note sheet, we ask that you keep that on the table. Yeah. All right, if we get everyone's attention, just for a few more minutes. I'll stop if you guys stop. Okay, all right, thank you. So if you leave all your materials at the table, the map, the poster where you put your priorities and the metrics, your Post-its and the note sheet, just leave them on the table. We're gonna photograph everything, collect everything, and then our team's gonna summarize everything too, because I know you only got to be part of one conversation tonight, and there was a ton of them. We have, I think, 50 tables, so we're gonna synthesize all that, and there's gonna be a summary on the website in the next couple of weeks. So please visit the website. The presentation from this evening, a video of this evening will also be available on the website, probably by sometime next week. So please keep checking back, and please stick with us. And I'm gonna turn over to Ben to hit a few next steps, and we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, let's get you out of here early. First of all, a round of applause for yourselves. Just walking around, the level of conversation, engagement was so impressive. It feels like a really, really good start, and it was super positive energy here tonight. And thank you for your ideas and your honesty and your participation. Really appreciate it. So Jay started with next steps, right? We'll put the video up. We have to check for sound and make sure it works, but we'll get that up as soon as possible to the Downtown Albany Strategy.com website. These slides that you saw will go up on the website. The synthesis that Jay talked about, again, please leave all your material on the table. We will take pictures of everything. For those who weren't able to come tonight, we'll also be sending out a survey with the same questions so people can feel like they were here, right? They can watch the video and they can answer the same questions. And then we will continue to use the website as a way to update on all engagement that will be happening as we move from this first phase into our next phase 2. And remember, there's 3 phases, right? This is the first phase where we're talking with each other about what does success really mean? What's the criteria for a project that's really going to work? Where is that going to happen? Where is public and private investment going to come together in downtown? Second phase is honing that into actual project thinking and ideas. And then the third will be having a list of draft projects and really talking about implementation. Funding, who's doing what, how are we phasing it, how is this actually going to happen in the real world, right? So with that, we're going to get you out of here early. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, please stay engaged with the whole process. If you have questions, there's a way to submit those through the website. And go downtown Albany. Thank you.